Hello and welcome to the Money Badger Silicon Valley's cryptocurrency blockchain show. I'm the host and producer, Dennett Lewis. I just got back from a HATSWALK conference, so I thought it'd be fun to bring in the studio the person that coordinated and put on the HATSWALK conference so we can find out what it is and what it has to do with blockchain and cryptocurrency. And we also brought another innovator in the studio who's going to explain their project and what they're working on. So please help me welcome in the studio here with me, I've got Michelle. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Thanks for putting on the HATSWALK conference and coming here.
You're welcome, it was fun.
And we also have a guest here, Tomas.
Hi, yes, Tomas. I'm from Talk TV, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we do and how we're coming to the blockchain.
I look forward to learning more about it. So, Michelle, what do hats have to do with blockchain and cryptocurrencies? What's the connection?
Yeah, so HATS for HATSWALK stands for Humanity, Arts, Technology, and Science. And what we decided to do is donate 50% of all ticket sales to 5 nonprofit organizations. So two cancer, 2 blockchain, and 1 AI one.
Okay, so what are the 2 blockchain ones?
Apprentio, so they basically allow and provide opportunities for at-risk youth in the blockchain ecosystem. And the other one is the Blockchain Education Network. So they provide education about blockchain.
Are these non-profit blockchains?
Correct.
So would they be like, what is it, 501c?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay. They're not decentralized, based out of a different country then?
Actually, the cancer one of them is from, I think, South Africa.
Okay.
Like one of the cancer one actually sent us a lot of swags. If you saw the bracelets around the table, they were really sweet.
So are you working with them?
Well, we were looking for cancer nonprofit organizations to work with. So, we looked at for a few, and we got recommendations from my friends. They were really sweet. And HAT is basically shows a support for cancer, because when you have cancer, you have no hair. So you wear these hats. So traditionally HATWALK is a fundraising activity for people with cancer, and you'll see a lot of models modeling hats for fundraising. A lot of cancer survivors also walking.
Okay.
So that's pretty awesome. And I thought, what if we mix a fundraising activity in the crypto space?
Yeah, that's interesting. Now I have to ask. Okay, so you raised money and you're donating it to a non-profit cryptocurrency company, startup, or a non-profit organization. Does that mean somewhere people can go and look on a block and audit it and see, okay, there's an address here where Michelle from this HATSWALK donated X amount of dollars, and can they track it and kind of see what's going on?
I think that's a really good idea, and I think a lot of other nonprofit is doing that. For us, we're just starting with conferences first and just putting in conferences. Maybe one day we'll have that system in place.
Yeah, because we have a lot of issues in the world of nonprofits, and bureaucracy gets in the way. It'd be really nice to be able to make a donation, go on the block somewhere and see that block of information, and then as that block of information goes, you could actually kind of think, oh well, look, my block, someone just used it here, so we can see where that money goes, and then you could trace the money that you donated and see what impact it really has. And to me, it doesn't only streamline it, but it also makes it where you're more engaged with the whole part. Oh my, look at my $100 equivalent donation. They received it in this block, and then I see where it went out and where it actually did some good. So I'm really excited about that application.
I met like one organization who's doing that for nonprofit, so I'm excited to see what they've done and where it's going to go. I think that's awesome. It also keeps a nonprofit authentic, and accountable as well.
And now you also do some ICO advisory?
Yeah, so I advise a few companies. I advise Talk TV Token, which is what Tomas is doing. Dr. Chain, so DNA on the blockchain. Black Box AI, which is a community in the future work of AI professionals.
So let's pause for a minute and back up there. ICO, initial coin offering.
Correct.
So what happens to after they've done an ICO, what are you calling these companies? Are you still involved with them? Or?
Yeah, I call them, token companies. So I advise traditional startup companies as well that have no token, that are not token based.
Yeah.
And then also ICO based company.
Are you using the term token and coin interchangeable, ICO versus ITO? Because just trying to get my terminology here.
Just a little bit. I mean, there's a difference between coin and token, I know.
What's the difference?
Well, if you're on, so people were basically saying that if you're on Ethereum or on a protocol, they're called coin. A token is when you create your own token. Is that right?
I'm asking the expert here.
So right, yeah. I think that's a difference. Yep. Okay.
Well, thanks.
Yep.
And let's hear about your project. What are you working on?
So yes, so as Michelle said, I'm from Talk TV, and we are the biggest currently social sports network. And we started 5 years ago with a couple of projects with first football and basketball and baseball, actually here in the U.S., and then focused increasingly more in soccer, European and around the world. And we were able to put in our SDK, our social button, into a number of partner apps. So we're partnered currently with soccer clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, and we also have presence in the US with basketball with LA Clippers. So what the button does is in this partner app where fans of the club go and look at scores, news, and other information, and also they go there to interact socially with their friends and other fans, they are able to go to our button and then they'll find a variety of ways to interact with others. So you can start a chat by typing in a text and reaching your friends. You can do a video chat, and during the game you can also send fun sounds from the game, like cheers and hooray and so on when your team scores. So it provides a sort of a social, a virtual social gathering, and on top of that, we have a feature called Social Selfie.
Whoa! I think you have enough features in there already. Let's try to boil this down and see if I can understand it. Because how would you explain it to a elementary student?
Well, really just a way to go into the app for your favorite team and then be able to reach others during the game and interact with them as you watch the game, and perhaps follow up later and do
I'm not getting things. So where does the cryptocurrency blockchain come into this?
I'm sorry. I should get to that. So this is the product. This is what we have. As a matter of fact, now we're starting to do a video player where you see highlights on the subscription level, and this is where really our interest in blockchain starts. What we like to see by bringing our service to the blockchain is the ability to use the secure blockchain networks like Ethereum to be able to subscribe and pay for your service, the subscription service. As a matter of fact, just earlier this week, we put on GitHub the first version of our smart contract, which allows you to actually use Ethereum to subscribe to our service. This is still a demo and our acceptance. But
okay. Let's pause there for a minute. You're covering a lot of territory. A smart contract is an if-then statement, which is automated. So we're sort of working to use software instead of having an attorney write a contract or to sign something. You're basically automating a lot of those features. Right. Now, you're using Ethereum as the platform of which you're building this on top of Ethereum?
For now. We eventually, we're considering creating our own token, but initially we wanted to, as a proof of concept, to have the protocol that allows you to subscribe to our service through Ethereum.
So are you pre-ICO, ITO?
Correct. We are just starting to, the process, and really, both the technology and the sort of funding side of things is kind of in tandem, and it's just getting going. Yeah.
But you already have viewers.
Right, because these are viewers from the previous service that we've had that I described earlier, that we can now bring to the new service, and blockchain allows us not just the secure subscription service, but also a variety of other things we can do, like trade digital cards, fan cards of your players. And so
I don't understand. Why do I need a secure? why do I need a secure blockchain for a sports app? I mean, are people betting on there, or what's going on?
Right, exactly.
They are?
So, well, not right now, but that would be some of the features we could roll out when we have a secure, sort of a very much recorded ledger-like system. We could have betting against your friends. You could purchase digital goods like a Cristiano Ronaldo card that is unique to you. You could perhaps have a sit-down with your favorite star in a virtual room that we can put together with the partner. So those would be some of the features that we would be able to do in the blockchain that make sense.
I'm excited about the digital cards because I usually collect baseball cards. And I like Jose Canseco, for example. And now you can actually do that digitally. That's awesome.
So you'd have like a digital card.
Yeah.
Are we talking like CryptoKitties kind of stuff here?
I think so.
I mean, you're kind of getting like CryptoKitty version where you'd have a unique sports card, and each one would be a little bit different, or maybe have a number or something that have its own unique features that would be on the blockchain. And then people could trade them, and they would potentially have some utility value or some value.
Yeah, like when I'm watching, I've used the app before. So when I'm playing with the app with Tomas, for example, and I'm watching TV or sports in my own living room, I can say, hey, this person will win. And then I'll just send you the number. It's kind of cool. Besides talking trash, right?
Well, let's back up for a minute. For viewers who aren't familiar, CryptoKitties, I think it was one of the first applications that went completely viral on a first blockchain application that actually went viral. So it was something where people could have a unique cat or kitty, and then the kitty could have, you'd have like 2 parent cats, and they could have an offspring, and each cat was different. And they were trading on the Ethereum platform. But there were problems with it in that it became notorious for this cat application went so viral that it crashed the Ethereum network. So are your sports cards, is this going to crash the Ethereum network if you put all that data on it?
It may be.
Well, if that means that we're successful, then sure. I don't think that will be allowed to happen again. But I think it speaks to the fact that it was a popular sort of phenomenon, and it actually outgrew the expectations of anybody that started it.
So Michelle, are you as an ICO advisor, are you advising Tomas here, or what's the connection?
Yeah, I'm advising Talk TV Token, which is a token part of the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, it will be an ITO versus an ICO, initial token offering.
Correct.
And for the tech people, is this a ERC20 platform or some ERC20 token, meaning it's based on the Ethereum?
Yes.
Okay. So you're using the Ethereum technology as your platform, and then you're adding additional smart contract features and releasing this as your token.
That's precisely right.
And you're doing that to achieve certain functions and applications that you couldn't do without it?
Right.
And what are those?
Or enhance our ability to provide an ecosystem for our viewers, which is convenient, safe, secure, and where they can use the digital currency, our token, to interact not just with their favorite teams, but also with each other. One thing I also wanted to add is we also have the ability to show advertising for our partners, and we believe that using the blockchain, it will enhance the security of that as well. In terms of understanding the exact path of when an ad is being served and how it's getting delivered to who. All the information is recorded. So that would be another value add for advertisers on the blockchain.
So your advertisers would be going out to your viewers. So you have utility in that you're developing sports viewers, and you're providing an application for them, which is this app, and where they can communicate back and forth. So we have a little soccer match, as the rest of the world calls football. So what was going on in your platform during this little football challenge that we just call the World Cup?
Well, actually, we had there are a lot of players in the World Cup. One of the things that's interesting about the World Cup, if you follow clubs, through the year, then your favorite players from all the different international clubs represent their countries in the World Cup. So certainly we were able to highlight those players. And in addition, we actually worked with the Colombian national team to provide an application for them, and they actually went several rounds through. And we are able to quickly develop applications. So in addition to the button and the video player, we also are developing apps, the complete apps. For example, for Real Madrid, we developed an app for China. Same with Barcelona and Juventus. So in this case, we were able to quickly build and integrate our SDK into the Colombian national team, and there was some exposure to that during the early stages of the tournament. But certainly a great opportunity for fans to get together and interact socially, as part of this international event.
So basically, people are bringing out their phones. Is this an Android, an Apple, or both platforms?
Right. We are on the mobile platforms. Our video player is also on. Is going to be on the web, but in this case, for the partner apps, that's exactly right. Users tend to keep a close eye on their smartphone to watch the scores or see how the statistics are building up. And then in the case of the World Cup, there were really very interesting instances where games were played at the same time, and the result of one game had an effect on the other game. So certainly fans know about that, and they keep in touch using their technology, and we certainly want to be part of that.
Now I'm curious: are you guys based in the U.S.?
The company is based in the U.S., but we have a liquid office. We don't have an actual physical office. We have an engineering team in Italy, and then there is several team members around the world.
I actually haven't heard that term before. Liquid office. Correct. That means you're remote, or
correct. That is a term our CEO coined, and basically speaks to the fact that we are connected virtually using Slack and other technologies, and we meet several times a year for retreats, but we do have a virtual office.
You guys are distributed.
Very distributed. Yes.
Team. Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering are there legal issues with this, especially if people are going to be betting on sports events? So does that fall on, are you looking into what kind of regulations are you?
Absolutely. And one of the things that that we always talk about is the distinction between game of luck versus game of skill, and even now the regulations are changing in favor of just sports betting in general. We always feel that focusing on this sort of skill based, where you're using your knowledge of the game to make predictions, is something that we can probably leverage and be able to be okay with the regulations, at least as they are today.
Now, switching a little bit, is this something that's going to hit like fantasy football, where you'll put fantasy teams together with your favorite players? Is that an app that or feature to the app that will be coming in the future?
I think that's an excellent idea, and I certainly will make a note of it.
I want some royalties there. I just came up with it now.
You got it.
Here on the Money Badger Silicon Valley, where we're all about innovation and helping ideas.
Yeah, I think I've heard other companies doing that.
Absolutely. We all play fantasies, and frankly, fantasy games moved from the bar into the virtual space and became very successful in that space. Really exploded. So I would think that we would want to look at something like that. That's a great idea. Okay.
So Michelle, I want to hear a little bit more about what you're working on. So you're advising here, but what are some other projects, or what's some other stuff in your pipeline?
Yeah, sure. So I'm helping with a print token. They basically created technology that you can create seamless prints and patterns, and you can use a token and basically print on different materials. They were at the conference. So I got to see some of the clothes that they produced. Do you like them? I thought it was beautiful. But yeah. So they're a 3D printer? No, this is textile printing technology. Okay, so they're pre-sized garments that they're making, and then they're doing the fabric. Tell me a little bit more. Yeah, so they're basically there's a software that they built, and with that software you can create your own pattern. And then they can print for you with different, on different material like organza, silk, just different kinds of materials. So they have a shop where they can print on different material. And why do you need blockchain or a token for printing material? More of a supply chain. You can, trace through the whole process. Did you hear about the 2 silkworms that were in a race? No.
They ended up in a tie.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, enough of my dry jokes.
That's awesome.
So you're looking, though, on the supply chain side. So, I mean, are you looking for where the silk comes from? I mean, walk me through it.
Yeah, so the manufacturer and distributor, they might want, so where do the fabrics come from? You know, who needs materials printed, right? So you can basically trace all of that, and then throughout the whole process, the printing process, and when it's done, those will be all tracked.
Okay, so from a blockchain side, do you really need a blockchain for this, or could you just use a centralized ledger where you're recording this all at the company, and then where you have an open book where you share it with people?
More transparency with a blockchain, because
how so?
Well, because you can change it once it's there, right? So
Immutable.
there's so it's accountable. You know, you have accountability, and you can trace it. Things don't get lost. You know, like you don't have paper flying around where you're like, oh, where's that paper that I've done? Where's that contract, right? And you can have smart contracts that could have relationships with different suppliers, different companies that wanted to print. You know, on the material. So I think it's just really easy to manage the entire ecosystem of textile printing.
Is there a big need for, or a demand for this?
I believe so. I think, I think the concentration is really a lot in China right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think with this, it'll become global, and, and it's a technology where you can really be creative, right? And I think when we're moving towards self-manufacturing in the future, you can create your own pattern, print it on, on silk. And it'll basically reduce the artist's cost, because if I go to Cost Plus today and buy a silk curtain, those are really expensive, right? Or a designer dress, with that kind of material is really hard to buy. But you've seen the print; they were beautiful. The fabric was really soft, so you can naturally produce those yourself. See, that's amazing, because there's transparency in the system. Before, you have a couple middlemen that you really don't know who they are, right?
So why, I'm still not quite getting, why do you need to get rid of the middlemen here, or what's the efficiency gain?
I think it's more costs, tracing costs, reducing the costs, easier for the supply chain. Like if you want, for a lot of people, big companies who want certain fabric printed, they can just enter into a smart contract. We'll have to file, and then it gets printed, right? It's more efficient. It saves a lot of money. It's and everything is traceable and tracked, right? And then the IP of the print is also
IP
saved.
Is the intellectual property.
Yes, but
so is that built into the smart contract? Kind of combining the intellectual property along with a smart contract, along with a blockchain, to make something where the artist or the creator has more. They have better ownership.
That would also be tracked as well, right? So you can use this technology to make your own seamless pattern, and that would be tracked. So you can't. There's always issues regarding IP, who owns it and whatnot. So if I were to use a software and create something, it would be there, right? And if Tomas goes there again and really likes what I did, and he used the same thing or similar thing, it'll be easier to track.
So one of the things I actually really liked about the HATSWALK conference is I went there, and it was full of very creative people. This was not a overrun corporate environment. And I'm like, okay, gentrification, we haven't had the big corporations come in and standardize this industry, the blockchain technology is still, we're still early on here. There's still a lot of very creative people out there trying different uses, looking for solutions, and I'm like, it's still a really interesting time and interesting field, so I was happy to see the amount of creativity going on. Yeah,
so that was like one of the most positive feedback. Was like, what? So we had artists, wire artists displaying the art. We have people, Print Token was there. We also have, I think Xing was there, and she basically auctioned one of her art on Codex, where they help you sell auction art. So that was like really cool. I really liked those presentations, and she was very amazed because she was just like, yeah, it just seems like nobody cared about art, but I thought art was really important because it displays the time.
So in the future, will we see more and more art moving to the blockchain? And I mean, are we going to see high-end paintings will all have their unique history recorded? And
I believe so. I mean, I think there's also cross-media, right? You have a lot of VR, AR. You know, you have print artists, designers, even seamless textile. And you just really see different aspects of art, right? You have like Behance, but what if we have those and they're tracked, and so we can actually trace back to who really owns it and who creates it. So it's just really a lot easier.
All right. So AR was something you had people were there with their virtual goggles and headset going on. So what's the connection with blockchain and this technology?
Sure. So I was working on a team with creating artificial soul sculpture. So Joey and Zay came and bought their VR AR machine so that I can check it out and so that everyone could try out. It was built by a very special person, and with permission, we brought it to the conference, and everyone enjoyed it.
Do you think we're almost out of time, but in the last remaining few minutes, do you think we'll see connections going forward where we're going to have blockchain and AI and virtual reality, augmented reality, all this merging together?
Definitely. I think a lot of blockchain could be used in a lot of verticals, and I think we are seeing different categories of how blockchain can be used. So I think they complement each other. And I think, from a technology and legal perspective and a tracking perspective, a log, is awesome.
All right, and then Thomas, on the last minute of the show, what's next in the future for you, real quick?
Well, right now we're actually going through the process of making sure that we have all our contracts with our partners, because really for us to be able to deliver our video service to the blockchain, we have to make sure that we have our partners on board, and that's certainly proceeding well. And beyond that, I think it's going to be preparing for an ITO and hoping that everything works out for us. And I think we're very positive, and we're looking forward to it.
If you do have a token, what's it going to be called?
There would be a TOK, T-O-T, if we can, because it's from TOK TV. So a TOK token.
All right. Well, you heard it first here on Money Badger, Silicon Valley. Thanks to our guest for coming in. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tomas. I want to wish both of you luck on your projects going forward. I want to thank our viewers for watching and learning about this interesting, fascinating spot. So go out there and learn a little bit more about what's going on in the blockchain space. Come back and catch our next episode. Thank you for watching.